Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing Unit 5 and skipping all the way up to Lesson 13. I know we've been getting out of line just a little bit with this chapter. It's just because there's some material in there that I think is a little bit redundant. But anyways, if you would like to go back and look at some of those previous lessons, please send me an email and I can send them your way. Okay, so today we're going to be dividing decimals, which is a similar process to multiplying them. Okay, so that's why on one side we have decimals that need to be divided versus the other side decimals that need to be multiplied. Okay, and then we're going to be able to kind of compare and contrast the difference between the two. So let's go ahead and start with what we're familiar with, 12 times 4. We know that 12 times 3 equals 36. So 12 times 4 is going to equal 48. Okay, perfect. So that's going to be our base number. So we know that all of these are going to have 48 and 48 and 48. But there's going to be some decimal movement that we'll get to later. Okay. And this side, 12 divided by 4 equals what? Well, we know 12 divided by 4 equals 3. Okay, that's one of our factors that we work with pretty often. Okay, so we're just going to put 3 as the baseline for all of these. And as you know, there's always an invisible decimal next to each number. And that's going to be the one that we move around to kind of try to determine where our decimal is going to end up at the end. Okay, so let's start with number 6. I like this one because the decimals are in both factors. So we're going to go ahead and see how they move. So it seems like with the first one, it moves one place to the left. And the next one, it moves one place to the left. So forward, it's moving forward for the decimal. So what do we do after this? Perfect, we add them together. So we go 1 plus 1 equals 2. So the decimals are going to be moving how many places? One place, 2 places, which will give us our ultimate answer of 0.48. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and we have the same exact equation, but it's division. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. So in this problem, the decimal is moving one place and it's moving one place forward on both of them. Okay, now here's where the trick lies. So pay close attention to this. Okay, when we divide, instead of adding the decimals, we do what? We subtract them. Okay, we subtract them. So instead of adding 1 plus 1, we will do 1 minus 1. And 1 minus 1 equals 0. So what does that mean? Well, it means the decimal does not move at all. The decimal will just stay right where it is. Okay? So that means no decimal movement. It's not moving at all. It's not moving at all. So that means our answer is just going to be 3. Okay? Pretty simple there. So remember, when we are multiplying decimals, we add together the decimal movements, but when we are dividing decimals, we subtract them. Okay, super important. So let's go all the way down to the bottom and do another one. So with this first one, we will notice that the decimal moves one place here. So that's going to give us 1, and it moves 1, 2, 3 places here. 3. 1 plus 3. Okay? 1 plus 3. So how many decimal places is that going to be? 4. 4 total. So let's move it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's our ultimate answer going to be? Perfect. 0.0048. Okay? Now this one, remember, instead of adding, we are what? Subtracting. So we know the decimal movements for this are going to be 1 forward and 1, 2, 3 forward. Okay? So what is 1 minus 3 equal? Perfect. 1 minus 3 equals -2. -2. Okay, so because it's a negative number, instead of moving forward, we are going to move what? Backward. So we're going to be taking that decimal and moving it backward. 1 whole, 2 whole. So what's our answer? 300. 300. Okay, so hopefully that's making pretty good sense to you so far. Okay, remember, if you have a positive number at the end, once you're adding or subtracting decimals, you move forward. If you have a negative number at the end, you move backwards. Okay, so let's try just one more and see where it takes us. Okay, so right here we have 0.024 divided by 0.6. So let's count those decimal movements. Okay, so we move 1, 2, 3 forward, and then we move 1 forward. Okay. Oh, I forgot a quick important step. We always start with our basics. So 24 divided by 6 we know equals 4, right? Now we've moved, and the decimal place always starts behind the number. So we have 3 and 1 for our decimal places for the divisor and the dividend. So what do we do now? Well, because it is a division problem, instead of adding the decimals, we subtract them. So 3 minus 1 equals what? 2. So it's a positive number. It's a positive number. Okay, so that means we must move in what direction? Forward. 1, 2. Okay, so what's our answer? Our answer equals 0.04. So it's interesting. This one, we ended up with a negative number at the end, so we moved back. But this one, we ended up with a positive number at the end, so we moved forward. So just because we're subtracting doesn't mean we're always going to move back. Remember, the way you ultimately move the decimals is going to depend on your last answer. So if your last answer is -5, what are you going to do? You're going to move 5 back. If your last answer is 4, what are you going to do? 4 forward, okay? So remember, just concentrate on subtracting the decimals if it's a division problem, and adding the decimals if it's a multiplication problem, and then you're going to have no issues at the end, okay? Thank you for tuning in, and good luck with this lesson.